So we'll just let everybody sign on. I'm here with Marianne and Karen and Kabat-Zinn and Perry and Thomas, and we'll pass the mic over to them in a minute. This is also getting streamed on YouTube, so if you need to go back and watch it or you miss anything, it'll be there. It's a great showing. Yesterday was a little strange. It was the first day, weekday at 11. I was like a little bit out of sorts. I'm like, what do I do with myself? So maybe we can start with just a short sitting while everybody signs on, and sit in eyes open, eyes closed, in whatever way you feel comfortable. And we'll just take a couple moments to connect in with our own body and our breath and what's true for us in this moment. And then we'll begin. So welcome. I think it's a really great sign that looks like there's about 800 people here with us today to learn more about the community and ways we can kind of stay in touch and connect. And super grateful to have Karen and Mariana and Kabat-Zinn and Perry and Thomas, who are going to walk us through all the tools that they've helped to develop so that this community can stay together in whatever way makes sense. And some of you might be very active, some of you might be less active, but they've spent a lot of time just kind of thinking through not only the map and things like the books, but also ways to communicate. And so really, really appreciative to them for all their hard work, and look forward to hearing more. So the plan would be, I'm going to be passing it over to them shortly, and they're just kind of run you through all the different pieces, answer any questions you have, just kind of make sure we're all on the same page about what tools and technologies are available to us. John wanted me to say his hello and his gratitude to everyone. And he's really kind of enjoying a break now and being with his family and grandkids and things. And so, but he also wanted me to pass along his well wishes. And I think, this community has meant a lot to him. And he had no idea when he started it, just how deep these connections would be, or how intimate this community would feel. And neither did I. And so it's just really wonderful to be a part of this with you, and really excited to see kind of what emerges once there's some space. And, John had said in one of the last things, he says, I'll be back, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. So he's doing what he's doing, taking care of himself, and we're all just feeling into it day by day in terms of what's needed, and how we can support ourselves, and how we can support each other. So without further ado, I'm going to stop talking and let Kabat-Zinn, Perry and Thomas, Mariana, and Karan just kind of take it from here. So who's best to get the baton first? Okay, Kabat-Zinn. All right, welcome, Kabat-Zinn.
Hi, hello, hello everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here with everyone tonight. And so tonight we're going to show you all the tools that we have created so that the conversation can go on. And our intention is really to provide tools for the community to continue unfolding in the same spirit as what we have been living in the past 13 weeks and what is continuing to unfold. And the idea was to bring everybody in the same place so we can all be together and continue all together. So tonight I'm going to facilitate and to help you understand everything that we have created, and to give the mic to the people of the team who have worked on these tools. So just for practicalities, this is going to be recorded, and it's going to be on the YouTube channel of Wisdom 2.0. So you can come back if there are some things that you have not understood, or you can tell your friends that everything is explained there. So yeah, it's going to be recorded. And what we're going to present you tonight is our 3 different tools. So we have 3 tools. We have a website that is called Map of Love. Within the website, we have the map, the actual map with countries. And we also have an app which is called Slack, and it's a conversation app. So we are going to present you each of these different tools and what they are for, and where to go depending on what kind of information or what kind of connection you want to have. So the first thing we're going to present you is the website, and Perry is going to give you a little tour and show you around so that you can understand it better. So Perry, I'm not sure how to do that, but
Sure. If you scroll over, you can just spotlight their video.
yes, please. Let's see. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Kabat-Zinn. And yes, so nice to be here with you all and to see you all again. We are very happy about it. And yes, as Kabat-Zinn mentioned, we will start with a little tour, a gentle tour through the website called mapoflove.org. And yes, maybe we can start with screen sharing. So actually we started with this website about 2.5 weeks ago. It isn't perfect yet, and but yes, here you see the front page, and our intent was to create a calm and still place where you can come back to, and where you can be reminded of the essence of the last 13 weeks. And so it really starts with a calm picture. And this picture also symbolizes for me non-dualism, because you, on one side, on the right side, you can see that the horizon, you can see the sea and the sky, but on the left side, you see that they are both one. So it's really one and two, and not one or two. And yes, and to be honest, I really love working and enjoy working on this website. It has really become a meditation practice for me. And you see here, there are many tabs, and you can go to each tab, or you can start scrolling down. And it starts with a few sentences about just this, a kind reminder to drop into this moment and to get connected with yourself. And then you can scroll further down, and there's the About section. There are links to John Kabat-Zinn, and there are links also to MBSR, to Wisdom 2.0, and also you can find here the recordings of every session, the link to these recordings. And then you can scroll further down, and you can have an impression, or you can get an impression of the map of love, which was a gift for John, for John's birthday. And also there is the Contact Us section, where you can request your access to the map of love, and also join Slack, and where you can contact us by email. And also we are going to have a newsletter on an irregular basis, and you can subscribe to this newsletter to get infos. And yes, Karan and Mariana will tell you more about the Slack and about the Slack platform. And Thomas will inform you more about the request access to the map of love, and also about this real map. And I'm continuing with the tour through the website. So just so I can see.
And we have that Zoom thing in front of us. So
yes.
Try to move that away.
Yes, so we have the engaged section. There are infos about Slack, and also there is a link to register on Slack. So the website really embeds the map of love, so the gift, the birthday present for John, and also embeds the link to Slack. And then you have the resources tab. And I have put in resources that have been mentioned by John during these 13 weeks. there are books, the book sessions, also with links to the books or to the author's pages. And there are poems quoted by John, including the links. And also there's a practice section where I wrote some sentences as a gentle reminder to go mindful and heartful through the day. And also things like the mushrooms tell you what to do. And yes, just some points that may be helpful for you to keep up the practice. And also there's a science section. And there I will be adding a selection of scientific papers, commentaries, and book chapters by John, including the PDF versions where you can click on and read them. And then there's an event section, and it includes the calendar. And unfortunately, it's really full catastrophe living because the calendar was working until today. We had put community-wide events suggested by John and Soren into it, but today it stopped working. And but we are into it and we are fixing it. So the events will show up here, and you can, it's a monthly calendar, so you can click into it and also see the Zoom links and see links to the websites of the events. Yeah, and but for now it's really not working. And as we noticed it, I said to Thomas, yeah, it's full catastrophe living. That's the curriculum right now, but it's going to be fixed.
And
yes.
We have a few more minutes, Perry, for the rest of the website.
Yes, I also want to show Indra's net, and there are more links to be added. There are valuable links that have been mentioned during the retreat, and I will add more links into this Indra's net. And also there's a support page, but Thomas will tell you more about that. Yes, so that's the website. Yeah. Okay. So now we stop sharing.
We continue to share.
We continue to share. Okay. And I pass it over to Thomas, and he will tell you more about the second platform, about the map of love, actually the birthday gift of John.
Yeah, so thank you, Perry. Yeah, also, and hello to everybody. It's really nice to be here with all of you. And yeah, I just take it from here. Yeah, maybe just mention something about the support page. It gives me a good introduction as well. So what all the stuff which I'm saying, maybe not everything, but the main things, I try to also put it here in the support page, so it will tell you how to find your way around in the map. And we are not running through that now. We are trying to do it live. So I go back to the home section, and we go here back to the map. So well, yeah, what we said at the beginning here, the map of love, taking a stand by placing a pin, right? And yeah, I will now show you how to actually do that, how you place your pin. So we go further down in the map section. Perry has shown that to you already. So this is just a static picture, but this gives already a good representation of really the large community which is coming together here, and which we're all kind of following John, and is a representation of the seeds John put into the world in a way, right? So I like that very much. Here's a button which you can use to click on. So we see here Map of Love. You can click that button and it takes you to another page. The map is, let's say, protected with a member password. I'm entering, that now. Okay, it's a little problem with Zoom here somehow. Is this sharing? Okay, so then you press unlock. So don't sign in, don't request passwords here, just sign in, and then you're basically entering the map. And this is the live map, so you can move around. You can, and that's what's really best is if you want to find your way around, you can, for instance, what I'm often doing, click on the right here, and there will be a list view, right? And you will see an alphabetic list of entries, and then the entries get rebuilt with numbers, and then the numbers correspond here to the names of the entries, right? So that's, I think, a good way if you want to find yourself or someone else by name. That's also a way where you can browse through the full list of entries in the map. So this is here on the right side. I close that again and want to show you a little bit, what you could do. What's now going on? Okay, it's coming back. Yeah, I think with the Zoom sharing, it takes a little bit more time. So you can enter locations, right? So let's say, I don't know, New York. And then you can select the locations, and the map is zooming you into this specified location, right? There are other ways of looking through the map, for instance, where you can go on view, and then you go to, for instance, search, right? And you could then search for basically in any of the fields. So for instance, if you go on description, which is the text you can enter, right? And we look for poems or poem, you can then say search, and here in the, you see now all the pins which in the description they put in some poems, or at least the word poem, and yeah, you can click on it, and that thing comes up, and yeah, we were right. There's actually a poem here posted by Alpha, for instance, right, in the map. So there's a good way of searching around also for content. This also means if you want to put something into your entry and you make that kind of meaningful, also there's a way in the map to search for that and to find entries with that specific information. So I go back and clear that search thing by saying reset. So all the markers are loaded again, and I want to quickly show you how to add your pin here, right? So on the desktop version, and the interface is looking a little bit different on the mobile version, you go to additions. Yeah, and that, sorry, I always have this Zoom thing in front of me. So you go to additions, add marker detailed, and a new window comes up. So let me just try that here. So I say it's Thomas, put my last name as well. And then I could put my location, right, which is here. I can then go to the next page or to the next tab about details. I could place a text here, right, a text about me. If I want, I could enter email address or phone number or my website. I want to remind you here that although we put a static password, right, we are a very large community, and the static password also, let's say, only gives limited security. So please be mindful what type of information you want to put in, right? So please consider this in a way somewhat public information, and yeah, really consider if you want to put your email or not. Yeah, but there is a place to do so, and yeah, you need to decide what information you want to share. Then there's also a way to add media. For instance, you can choose upload a photo from your computer, and then when you are finished, you press the submit button, right? And then the entry is submitted, and then another window comes up, which gives you here a link. And that link, you should really save that URL, because this will allow you later to edit your entry in order to come back to and edit the entry, because all the participants can add entries, but they cannot edit the other entries unless you have that specific link or your specific link. Now, we got a lot of questions about how to edit the links if you have forgotten your link. So we said, well, let's maybe do it like this, that you, if you're really not happy with your entry, you can add a new one, maybe with the same name. And we will then go after a while through the map, and we would then delete the older entries and clean up the map. I think that's the easiest one, and I would really ask you to keep your edit URL so that you are able to come back later. On the mobile phone, the interface looks slightly different, yeah, I have it in the support page. The thing which I want to remind you there, you don't get an edit link on the mobile interface. There will be a little cookie stored in your phone, so you should be able for 1 year to go back and edit your entry. But if your, I don't know, browser cache is cleared, this may not be possible. So you may consider putting your first entry using the web browser. Yeah?
Thomas, just to jump in, people are asking how they can get the password to get into the map.
Okay, great. It's a very good question. I go back to the website. So the website Map of Love, right? And you scroll down to the contact us section. You enter your first name here, you put your email, you accept the terms of conditions, the terms of use, telling that you are not a robot, and you request access. Once you press that button, the form clears, and you will get sent an automatic password with instructions on how to get onto the map, and it will take you from there. So then please check your email inbox and to follow the instructions given there. All right, yeah, this was the little tour of the map. I think it can be used really as a low-level mean of getting an understanding of the community, understanding who is around you, understand who is in different places of the earth. And yeah, if people want to leave their contact details there, it can also be a way of contacting each other.
And how many pins?
All right, yeah, so at the moment, just to close with that, yeah, we have 1,692 pins placed at the moment. Okay, yeah, thank you, and back to Kabat-Zinn.
Okay, thank you for this very clear explanation. So that was the second tool that we have, the map, and you can use it to find people all over the world, and maybe talk with people you have met in the breakout rooms, or yeah, that's one way of connecting. And the other way of connecting is through the platform called Slack. And Mariana and Karen are going to show you a little bit, yeah, how to navigate within the Slack platform. And so, who is starting? Is it Mariana, or is it Karen?
Hi. Yes, I'll start. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Grateful to this wonderful team which has put in this work, and I'm just happy to be part of it and being just able to contribute in whichever way I can. So just wanted to say it like first mention the way in which I'm supporting the team. I'm just providing whatever technical support I can as a Slack admin, and helping shape or structure conversations in Slack, which can be useful to most of the community members. So forgive me if I'm like moving between multiple, if you see me glancing away, I'm just looking at a different screen as I share towards it, and I have notes about what to share in the demo about Slack. But before I get to that, Mariana, do you want to quickly intro?
Yes. Hi, I'm Mariana, and I'm going to actually focus in the suggested guidelines of how to interact among ourselves across all the different platforms that this community is going to use. So I'm going to go into detail after Karan does his presentation of Slack. Back to you.
All right, great. Let me start sharing my screen. I hope you all can see this. Yes, okay, great. So this is Slack, and I notice many of you are already here. We have some 337 members, and hopefully a lot of you who are on Zoom right now can join after this presentation. I wanted to give a little bit of background of how we chose Slack. I kicked off a conversation with Thomas initially when we were working on this on what is the right tool for interacting. And we discussed a few different platforms like Slack, Discord, even thought about social platforms, social media platforms, the popular ones. But as you might remember, John has talked about the whole social media molasses and how it is maybe not the best tool or platform to get caught up in what these other platforms are doing. And my recommendation, having worked in different organizations and teams that use collaboration softwares, was I really like Slack because it is designed as a place for doing work. And what is the work we have to do? The work, it is the inner work. And I think that is the most important work we are here to do. And a tool which is designed to enable work seems like the right tool for us. So I'm going to give you a quick tour, assuming that you have found your way on how to get into Slack, on how best to use it. So there are three core things to think about as you make your way around Slack: members, channels, and think of channels as forums for those who are used to discussion forums. So they are like rooms where you have focused conversations. And the third piece is messages or conversations. And I'll go through each one of those sections one by one. Members is the most beautiful part of it. That is what makes the community. So I want to talk about that first. So the best, actually, before I go there, sorry to jump around. I want to say that there are different ways of interacting with Slack. You can be in the desktop application. You can be using it in the web browser, just like you would go to Gmail or like your email client and use something in a browser, or you can have a mobile application. I'm going to be showing you this in the desktop application, but if you go to slack.com/help, you will find ways of downloading whatever client is best suited for your needs and the best way of working with that client. But this demo is going to be around how to use it in the desktop application. So I hope you're able to translate it to whatever is your client of choice. So back to members. So when on my left-hand side pane, when I click on people, I see this gallery view of all the members that are on Slack. And think of this as the gallery view of Zoom that we have enjoyed over the last 13 weeks on how do we see who is part of this community. So I can go to this page, I can page through it, see all the beautiful faces that are part of this community. Well, yes, not all of us have put profile pictures in here, which is what I'm going to talk about, which makes this view even more beautiful is if you set up your profile right. So this is a way of browsing members. You can also search by a certain name, but when you search, what you come up against is your profile. So this is my profile, and I will show you how to edit it, what you can set up over here. You can,
Karen?
Yes.
Yes, some people are saying that it's a bit small for them to read. Is there any way so that you could put your screen bigger, or just yeah, because it's very small? If it's possible, if it's not, it's all right. But yeah, some people in the chat are saying it's small for
Okay,
them.
let me quickly look into that.
Thanks.
Yep. Is this better? I'm making it bigger.
Yes,
Yes.
better.
Hopefully that's better. Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I was at editing profiles. If I click edit profile over here, I can put in a few things. Full name, I've just put in my first name, but your choice. If you want to put in your full name, do that. The one thing I would encourage you to put is put in something on what I do, because that introduces you to the community. For example, right now, live here, I guess this could use some reiteration. Just this again. I'm saying I'm based out of San Francisco. This is what I wanted to share. I don't want to put my phone number in right now, but if this is up to you, if you want to put your email in, you can put it in what I do. By default, your email is not visible to other Slack members. It is only visible to admins, only if they need to see it. You get a smart choice of like, what is your time zone? I'm based out of the Pacific time zone. And then you get to upload a picture. And I've already put one picture in, so I'm not going to do anything here. And after you do this, it save changes. And this thing has updated. So now if I don't think it's useful to search for me, but let me search for Perry or Thomas. Search for Thomas, and there he is. Let's see what Thomas has put in his profile. Nothing yet. So Thomas, maybe you can update your what I do later. Not to put you on the spot, but maybe that's one thing that everyone can help build a bigger sense of community by sharing something about you. So that's about people, which is members. The second big piece of how you work in Slack is channels. And this might get complicated. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, but let me just apologize in advance that this is not going to be perfect, and we're going to take a stab at laying out the land of the best way of organizing things in Slack, but this is a work in progress and it'll change over time. So channels, as I mentioned, is like a discussion forum. It's a room. Think of it as designing a space for having a focused conversation. The best entry point into channels is this channel browser thing on your left-hand side pane of your Slack client. And when I look at channel browser, I see all the channels that are available in the community right now. I may or may not be part of these channels just because I've been hanging out in Slack since the beginning. I'm mostly part of all the channels, but I don't expect that will be the case going forward. But I see that there are 33 channels. I see the name of the channel. I see a description of what it is for. And an important thing to keep in mind is that this is not a comprehensive list. You can create your own channel as you find worthy of like having a conversation, a focused conversation on a certain topic. You can say create channel. What else do I want to talk about over here? Okay, yes, organizing channel. I wanted to show this document. Hopefully some of you on Slack have already seen this. There is some structure, and this is not something that is built into Slack. Slack lets you organize things the way you want. There can be no structure in channels, but since we are a large distributed community, I think it will be helpful to be mindful of how we have conversations and to be more structured than is necessary even. So there's this document linked in a welcome to Slack document to talk about, which lays out a broad structure, some broad brushstrokes, so to say, on what is a good way of structuring new channels. So for example, there are channels around resources, channels around discussion, and channels around meet, and maybe even some locale specific channels. I will walk you through some of these channels shortly. So for example, I want to join a channel that I'm not part of. If I'm in channel browser, let me talk about how to join and leave channels. I am not part of, let's see, maybe I haven't joined Discuss Neuroscience. So if I click on this, I can just hit the join channel button. and it drops me into this channel. I see at the top right that there are 18 members in this channel. So not everyone in the workspace community is part of every channel. That is another important thing to keep in mind, that you don't need to be in every room and every part of every conversation. Find the thing that speaks to you and join that conversation. And I drop in here and I feel like I'm overwhelmed by information here and maybe I don't want to be part of this channel. So what I can do is, if this tab isn't open, I will click on this dot, 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 or no, it was the eye icon, information about this channel. I'll click on this and I will say more and leave that channel. So I have dropped out of that channel. And if you find yourself in a channel, again, click this eye icon and you will, in the about thing, you will see a topic and a description of what this channel is about. Back to channel browser. If you don't find a channel of interest over here and you want to create something of your own, you can hit create channel. You can give it a name as per the document that I showed you earlier. There are some helpful tips on how to give a name so that it is discoverable, and you can give a description. And think of it at that point that you're designing your own space, whether that's your living room, kitchen. And I would encourage you, if you create a channel, think about what is the best way of guiding conversations in that channel and keeping it safe. And Mariana will talk more about this later on as a part of this demo. Looking back at my notes, we have talked about entering and leaving channels. That leads me to channel view on the left-hand side. So I think this is one common confusion with folks who are new to using channels. If you look at this channels list, this is not the list of all channels. So keep in mind that channel browser is the way to discover channels, but channels on your left-hand side pane is generally a list of channels you have subscribed to. You can change the settings in some place in Slack that I'm not going to get to say only show me channels with unread messages, but by default, these are all channels that you're subscribed to. So I'm subscribed to these channels and I can click on them. I'm already a member. I can click on them and see what is the latest activity that happened on that channel. Clearly, there's a lot happening on how to. There's a lot happening on welcome. So you can browse the things you're subscribed to. And if you join a channel through the channel browser path that I showed you earlier, that will also show up in your channels list. So this channels list is different from the global channel that you browse through channel browser. We already talked about creating channels. Another thing I wanted to point out, which is also mentioned in the document I showed you, is we have some special channels around coordinating meetups. And these meetups are, given that we are a global community and in the midst of a pandemic, these are virtual meetups. There's Meet Social Calendar, and there's a helpful description on how to organize events. And as this community unfolds, we'll figure out if this is scaling as per our needs or we need to do something else. There's Meet, Meditate with Teachers, and there's Meet, Meditate with Community. And for example, I think one suggested way over here is I can put in a message to say that post demo hangout, and then I say when, Tuesday, the June 30th, Pacific time, 1 p.m. And a Zoom link in Threads. And then I hit enter and I say pin to channel. So this is a social calendar, and this is when I come to this channel and hit I hit look at view pinned items. I see this is an upcoming event organized by the community. So that's a way of socializing and talking about events. And I already gave a demo about, we are talking about events. I showed you how to send messages. Once you're in a channel, you can just post something and start a discussion there. One thing to note, and I'll dig into, I reference this in Zoom and Threads, is Messages are of two types. So generally, broadly speaking, there is a notion of conversation, that there is a conversation happening around this message, or it can be a single one-time message. So this message, if I click on reply in thread, I'm making this a conversation, and it'll get nested within this. So at this point, I can say that Zoom link is gonna come soon, and there it is. So it is a part of a thread within this message. So conversations are either standalone or threaded. And you can also emoji react. It is weird to react to my own message, but for the purposes of the demo, I'll do this. And what's a good reaction? So if I click on this icon over here, which says add reaction, I can do this and I can say thumbs up. That's great. And maybe I'm signaling that I'm joining this meeting. Whatever your reaction is, that is appropriate. So that is one interface to messages. Another useful thing you can do is you can search all of Slack for certain messages. For example, I just put a message on demo hangout. So if I search for demo hangout, I see that this message shows up over here. That's another useful thing in Slack, to search for messages. And as we are talking about messages, I really want to highlight one important thing in our Slack setup. We are using a free version of Slack, which I think for now works for the community. But the biggest thing to note about that is we are limited to 10,000 messages. It is not that we won't be able to message after that, but older messages won't be visible either in history or your view of channels. So I would just give a gentle reminder to the community that don't get attached to messages, and what is in the history is in the history. And we will see how quickly we use up our limit of searchable history. And every time you're posting, remember that you are using a resource from the community. So think about, is this useful to dozens of members? Is this useful to even hundreds of members of the community? And then post about it. So just be mindful. Of course, we want to encourage conversation, which is why the whole platform and the tool exists. And on that note, also avoid direct messages. Direct messages is the way for me to look up someone directly and send them a one-to-one message. But that, again, is using up a resource from the community. So I would encourage you to avoid that. And if you have created a channel, try to clean up the message history of the channel when it is not relevant. You can one by one delete messages if necessary. And I think that wraps up the tour of Slack. I'm going to hand it over to Mariana.
Sorry. Hi, how are you? So I'm going to be talking about suggested guidelines to interact within the community in order to keep it as harmonious as possible. And this is going to apply throughout the whole different platforms that we're using. So the first thing is, what can we post? So we are trying to encourage post original content, insights, comments, and reflections that have to do with our actual experiences. And if you use copied content, since there's so much content in outside of our community, what we are encouraging to do is we're encouraging to post along with a copied post, to post why is it important to you and make it your own. So we're trying to keep a positive engagement throughout the community, and we want to be inclusive and safe, and share different aspects of mindfulness. And we do value the different voices that we encompass in this community. And we have a very wide spectrum of identities, and we enjoy that. So we're trying to keep it all inclusive. So respectful behaviors include kind and considerate statements that promote discussions that are mindful. Regarding privacy, Well, even like Thomas said, even though this community is not public, it is widespread and open for people to join. So please be mindful of what you post. Make sure you feel comfortable with what you're sharing, because we can, we cannot guarantee that this will remain private. And as a privacy guideline, we are using something called the Chatham House Rule. That actually what it says is that all participants can use the information they receive, and without disclosing the identity of the originator unless they have their express consent. We are mostly a free, a community that exchanges free content and events, and we're trying to keep the spirit of that kind of sharing. But in the interest of the community, we will set a Slack channel to post paid events and content that are done by the community or other valuable members. And but we are requesting the members to post discreetly and do not advertise aggressively. So if you read a post that arouses negative behavior or emotions, I mean negative emotions within you, we suggest that you take your time to respond mindfully and constructively. We can mediate, we're going to have mediators, how moderators, and to mediate the situations, but we are encouraging to try to resolve challenging situations between the people who are involved in it, but we can help. We are all learning, and we're open to suggestions about this document that we put together called Code of Conduct.
There is a question, Mariana, about where to find this code of conduct.
Yes, if you go to the Engage, is it Engage or Interact? I'm sorry, I don't know if we left how we left it in the map of love. Can you put it back, Karen? So in the Engage section, there is of how to use Slack. There is a link to the Code of Conduct. And you can use this Code of Conduct throughout all the platforms, not just Slack. So we can sort of keep a harmonious space.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so so you also the Slack platform. There were a lot of comments in the chat that were saying that it was a little bit fast and that it was maybe confusing for some people. Don't worry, because Karen just did a whole tour of the Slack platform, and as soon as you will join, you will see that it's not that complicated at all. And there are many ways, if you need help, to reach out for the community for that. If you're on one of the WhatsApp groups, you can ask on the WhatsApp groups. You can also go to the support page that Thomas showed you on the website. It's not completely finished yet, but you will have a lot of information about how to join and how to interact and how to use Slack. If you manage to get into Slack but still are lost on the platform, there is a channel that is called how to Slack. So you can ask your questions there, and you will get answers. And yeah, we encourage people to help each other. And if you haven't found the solution to your question, then you can email us. But we really encourage you to maybe watch again this video, maybe really read thoroughly the support page. And if you need help, there will always be help for you. So yeah, that's one of the first thing. Karen,
Kabat-Zinn, Can I plug in one other thing that I briefly mentioned and apologize again for running so fast through it? Slack.com/help. There are wonderful resources over there on how to get started and using Slack. And I will also put this link in how to Slack channel. And there are also other community videos on getting an intro to Slack that I'll share in the how to Slack channel.
And Karan, some people are asking for the name of the workspace because when you join, then you are asked a workspace name. Can you explain this maybe?
Yeah, yes, that is also the same as the first part of their website as map-off-love.
Okay, could you write it in the chat?
Yes, I will.
Okay, I have another question is in the profile in Slack, some people ask, can we put our email addresses in this profile and can we put links to our social media like LinkedIn profile or?
I think it is okay. Whatever you want to share, you can put in what I do part. I think it is limited to a certain number of characters. So it is up to you what you want to share in that thing.
Okay. Someone asked, do you join a channel in your profile view?
No, you go to the left-hand pane of Slack in desktop, or I don't remember off the top of my head how it is in the mobile client. But you go to channel browser, you look at the channel and you click on it, and then you'll see a button to join it.
A button on the bottom will say join
Yes.
this channel and you click on that button.
Exactly.
Someone asks, is there a way to avoid duplicating channels? So I will maybe answer this one. Yes, there is. Please browse through the channels before creating your channel and see if the topic is already there, because you don't need to have 5 times the same channel. Just jump in if it's already created. And if it's not, then you're welcome to create one channel. And there is also the question, is everybody on Slack going to be able to see what we are doing here? So the answer is no. Slack, it's a general platform that is used by a lot of companies and structures and people, but everyone has their own workspace. We have the workspace Map of Love, and only the people who signed in to Slack Map of Love can access what we are discussing and creating. So it's private. Everyone who requests for access has the access, but then it's only us, so you cannot access it from anywhere. Okay, yes, Karen.
I just wanted to say that even though it is private, to be careful of what you post, because we are inviting people to join. So we cannot guarantee that whatever you post will remain private. Sorry.
That's a great point, Mariana. I also wanted to just raise that we do not have any gating process to invitations. Anyone who finds the community can click on that link and join the community.
And people are also asking about the events, if they are going to be on Slack. Yes, they are going to be on Slack. Everyone who proposes an event, go to the Slack channel meet event, and then can propose their event. Like some of us are already proposing things, and everybody is welcome to put what they are offering on the Slack channel. Then everything will be at the same place and everyone can easily access it. So I think that's it for the whole presentation. Just a few more things that we would like to say. The first thing is that we are running with this platform. It's not perfect. It's a work in progress, and we are going to experience it and see how it goes, see how things unfold. And we are really welcoming feedback if you have some. So on Slack, there is a channel that is called feedback, I guess. So you can write to us if you have any suggestions and opinions. we might get back to you for more feedback during the summer or later, but we'll see. We don't promise anything, but we'll see how things are going. The other thing that I wanted to emphasize is that we welcome you to join to subscribe to the newsletter, because on the newsletter we'll keep in touch if things of what is going to happen. So please subscribe to the newsletter, and we'll keep in touch. And the last words go to Perry.
Can you spotlight me, Kabat-Zinn? Okay.
I just did.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Kabat-Zinn, can you spotlight me? Yes, okay. So thank you so much for all these explanations and all this information. And there are a few sentences that are on my heart, and then that I would like to share with you all. These 13 weeks have been so amazing, and such a wonderful and such an amazing gift for us all. So much unfolding of love, loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom. And our deepest wish is to keep this spirit and remind us again and again how important it is to be aware, to be really aware of what's unfolding, of what we are feeling, of what we are thinking, and what we are sensing, and also to take care of ourselves in a mindful and heartful way, and also to take care of each other in a heartful and mindful way. And yes, may you all be safe, and may you feel this love, and may the spirit, may this essence of the last 13 weeks really be spread into the world. And I hope you can feel this love, and really you all are in our hearts, and know you are loved. Thank you for this time and for this being together the last 13 weeks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Perry and Thomas, and Soren. The mic is back to you.
Well, it's really amazing to see all the just really genuine hearted efforts going in to kind of explore what this next chapter will be. And I, for one, am super excited to participate and to see what emerges. And I really reiterate what Perry said, that the last 13 weeks has been such a gift and such a blessing. And I've met such extraordinary people. And I know John feels very much the same way. And it gives me hope for the world that you know, when you read the news and it's easy to kind of get down on humanity. And I think part of what this group has done, it shows us beyond our location, our age, our language. There's a depth of care in the heart that's really, I think is, if anything is going to save our civilization or point us in the right direction, it's that heartfulness. So yeah, thank you again, and we'll see how everything unfolds. Anything else, Kabat-Zinn or anyone, before we say our goodbyes? Okay, you've been muted. You will now be unmuted, or you can actually, let's see, unmute yourselves. And thank you again for taking the time. This will all be up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you missed anything, we'll email it out too, but you can always catch it up on YouTube.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.